The bridge of the human warship Valkyrie was quiet, except for the soft beeping of computers. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair, reading reports from the daily patrol. Earth had joined the big alien alliance called the Galactic Council only 3 years ago. Most aliens still thought humans were strange and new. Lieutenant Amy Brooks worked at her station near the front of the bridge. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing screen in front of her. Something caught her attention and she frowned. "Captain, I am picking up something weird," Amy said loudly. "It is a distress signal, but it is not using the normal council radio channels." Jake leaned forward in his chair. His face showed worry. "Can you make it clearer?" "I am trying right now, sir." Amy touched several buttons on her screen. Suddenly, the bridge speakers made crackling sounds. Then a voice came through. The voice sounded desperate and scared. "This is the Zenthari colony ship Peaceful Dawn. We are under attack by the Krathic swarm. Our weapons cannot stop them. Our shields are breaking. If anyone can hear this message, please help us. We have children on this ship. Please, we need help." The message played again and again. Each time it sounded weaker. Jake felt his jaw muscles tighten. He had heard stories about the Krathics. They were machines that destroyed whole civilizations. They took everything apart for metal and materials. Most alien species ran away when they heard the name Krathics. "Set a course to meet them," Jake said in a commanding voice. "Maximum speed." Commander Kyle Peters was Jake's second in command. He walked closer and spoke quietly so only Jake could hear. "Sir, the Council has orders that say we should avoid the Krathics at all costs. We are supposed to report it and run away." Jake looked directly into Kyle's eyes. His look was strong and unwavering. "That order was written by species who never had to fight for their lives, Kyle. We are human. We do not leave people to die when we can save them." Kyle nodded slowly. A serious smile appeared on his face. "Helm, you heard the captain. Get us there as fast as possible." The Valkyrie's powerful engines roared to life. The ship pushed forward faster than the safety manuals recommended. At the navigation station, Ensign Paul Chen worked hard to calculate the fastest route while avoiding dangerous space zones. "We will reach them in 47 minutes, Paul announced to everyone on the bridge. "Open a channel to the Zenthari ship," Jake ordered. "Let them know help is coming." Amy pressed buttons to open the communication line. "Peaceful Dawn, this is the human defense ship Valkyrie. We received your distress call and we are coming to you. Hold on, help is on the way." There was a long pause. Then a shaking voice answered. It did not sound human at all. The voice had a musical quality like singing. "Human ship? But you are so new to space travel. The Krathics are death itself. You should not risk your lives for us." Jake grabbed the communication device himself. "That is not how humans work. We heard you calling for help. We are coming." Valkyrie out. He turned to look at his crew. He could see fear and determination mixed together on their faces. All of them were volunteers. All of them had fought in Earth's wars before coming to space. They knew what it meant to stand between helpless people in danger. "Battle stations," Jake said quietly but firmly. "Let us show the galaxy what Deathworlders can do." Warning alarms sounded throughout the ship. The crew moved quickly and smoothly. Everyone knew their job. In the weapons room, crew members handed out guns and equipment. In the engine room, Chief Linda Hayes began sending extra power to the shields and weapons. She was preparing everything for combat that would push the ship beyond its normal limits. In the medical bay, Dr. Greg Foster started getting his surgery room ready for wounded people. Both humans and aliens might need treatment. His medical team worked silently and efficiently. They knew that lives would depend on how ready they were. The Valkyrie flew through space at incredible speed. It was a single human ship racing toward a battle that more advanced alien species had learned to run away from long ago. On the bridge, Jake stared at the tactical screen. The screen showed the distance to the Zenthari ship getting smaller and smaller. "Someone get me all the information we have about how the Krathics fight," Jake said. "And tell the Marines to wake up and get ready. I think we are going to need them." Down below the bridge in the troop bay, Gunnery Sergeant Lisa Kane was already waking up her soldiers. She checked weapons and armor with the calm efficiency of someone who had done this 1,000 times. When she told the Marines they were going to fight the Krathics to save civilians, not a single Marine said no or looked scared. They were human. This was what they did. This was what they were good at. Marine Corporal Ben Hayes loaded his rifle and checked his armor seals. "Gunny, I heard the Krathics are unstoppable. Is that true?" Lisa looked at him with a hard smile. That is what everyone says. But everyone else has not tried stopping them with good old human stubbornness and high-velocity tungsten rounds. We're about to teach these machines something new. The other Marines laughed nervously. They trusted Lisa. She had led them through bad situations before. Back on the bridge, the tactical screen started showing more details. The Xanthari colony ship appeared as a small symbol surrounded by many red dots. Each red dot was a Krathix machine. Sir, I am counting 17 Krathix drones around the colony ship, said Lieutenant Danny Wright from the weapons station. The Xanthari ship is badly damaged. It looks like it is barely holding together. Jake studied the screen carefully. His mind was working fast, making plans. What is the status of our weapons? All railguns are charged and ready. Missile tubes are loaded. Defense systems are online, Danny reported. Then he added, Sir, I should tell you something. According to Council records, Krathix armor can stop most energy weapons. That is why everyone runs from them. A cold smile appeared on Jake's face. Good thing we humans prefer old-fashioned weapons. Solid projectiles moving really fast. Let us introduce these machines to physics. Fire when ready, the crew waited tensely. They were about to fight an enemy that terrified the entire galaxy. But they were human, and humans did not run from fights. They ran toward them. The peaceful dawn appeared on their sensors like a wounded bird floating in space. Air was leaking out from many holes in the ship's hull. Around it, like a swarm of metal insects, were 17 Krathix drones. Each drone was about the size of a small fighter ship. They had cutting tools and energy weapons all over them. Oh my God, Amy whispered from her station. The Xanthari ship is barely staying in one piece. Jake studied the tactical display with his experienced eye. The Krathix machines were already starting to take the colony ship apart piece by piece. Through the front window, he could see flashes of weapon fire. The Xanthari were still fighting back, but their resistance was getting weaker. What is our weapon status? Jake asked loudly. Railguns charged and ready. Missile tubes loaded. Point defense systems online. Lieutenant Danny Wright answered from the weapons station. Sir, I should mention something. According to Council records, Krathix armor can handle most energy weapons. That is why everyone runs from them. A cold smile crossed Jake's face. Good thing we humans like old-fashioned weapons. Kinetic energy. Solid objects moving very fast. Let us introduce these machines to the laws of physics. Fire at will. The Valkyrie opened fire with everything it had. Metal slugs made of tungsten flew through space at speeds close to the speed of light. The effect on the Krathix drones was immediate and terrible. The first 3 machines simply exploded into pieces. Their armor was designed to spread out energy from lasers, but it could not handle solid objects hitting them at such incredible speeds. Direct hits, Danny shouted with excitement. Enemy drones are breaking formation! The remaining Krathix immediately stopped attacking the helpless Xanthari ship. They turned their attention to this new aggressive threat. They moved with strange coordination, spreading out and flying toward the Valkyrie with frightening speed. Evasive maneuvers, Jake ordered. Kyle, launch our fighter screen. From the Valkyrie's launch bays, 6 human pilots in small fighter ships flew out into space. Leading them was Lieutenant Commander Heather Cole. She was a veteran of Earth's air wars who had learned to fight in space very quickly. Red Squadron, you are free to fire, Heather said calmly over the radio. Remember your training. These things do not dodge like living pilots. Predict where they will go and lead your shots. The space between the ships exploded into chaos. Krathix energy beams shot through the darkness, forcing the human fighters to spin and twist wildly to avoid being hit. But the pilots of Red Squadron had learned to fly on Earth where gravity pulled hard and mistakes meant death. This was familiar territory for them, just with stars in the background instead of sky. Heather lined up her shot carefully. She waited until the last possible second before firing several armor-piercing missiles. 2 Krathix drones disappeared in silent explosions. Got 2! Stay on them, people! Back on the Valkyrie's bridge, Jake watched the battle unfold with calculated precision. Amy, open a line to the Xanthari ship, and someone tell engineering I need more power to forward shields. Captain, the Krathix are adapting, Danny reported. His voice sounded tight with tension. They are rotating their armor to deflect our railgun rounds. Then we adapt faster, Jake replied. Switch to fragmenting rounds. Let us see them rotate against 100 smaller projectiles coming at them. The Valkyrie's next attack scattered like deadly fireworks. The shots broke apart into many smaller pieces that overwhelmed the Krathix defensive systems. 3 more drones went dark and tumbled through space as dead metal. Amy managed to connect with the peaceful dawn. The face that appeared on the screen was like nothing the human crew had seen in person before. The alien had features that looked like crystal or glass. They seemed to glow with inner light. Large eyes showed white all around, which meant the alien was terrified. "Human Captain, you are actually fighting them," the Xanthari commander said with shock in his voice. "We sent 17 distress calls over the past day. Yours was the first response. Everyone else said they could not risk it." Jake kept his eyes on the tactical display as he answered. "We are human. We are good at handling bad odds. How many survivors do you have?" 342, including 73 children, the Xanthari replied. "But our life support is failing. We have perhaps 1 day before it stops working completely." "Understood," Jake cut in. "Kyle, prepare emergency evacuation procedures. We are taking them aboard our ship." Kyle did not hesitate. "On it. Linda, we need those backup life support systems online right now." In the battle space, the tide had turned. The Krathiks were built to attack helpless prey. They were not ready for opponents who actually fought back with weapons designed to destroy, rather than just disable. One by one, the drones fell to human weapons and human tactics. The last Krathik's drone tried to run away, but Heather Cole was faster. Her fighter swooped down from above. She fired a final missile that hit the machine right in its central processor. It died without any sound, just another piece of debris floating in space. "All enemy contacts destroyed," Danny announced. Disbelief colored his voice. "Captain, we just took out an entire Krathik's assault wave." Jake allowed himself a small nod. "Good work, everyone. But we are not finished yet. Prepare boarding shuttles and medical teams. Let us get those refugees onto our ship before that colony ship falls apart completely." As the crew moved to follow his orders, Jake looked at the tactical display. 17 debris fields now floated where the Krathik's machines had been. The galaxy considered these machines unstoppable. But the galaxy had not met humanity yet. The real work was about to begin. They had to get over 300 aliens off a dying ship, and they had to do it fast. Jake knew that more Krathiks would come. These machines did not give up easily. They would want revenge for their destroyed drones. "Sir, I am detecting something on long-range sensors," Paul said from navigation. His voice had a worried tone. "More Krathik signatures approaching. A much larger group." Jake felt his stomach tighten. "How many?" 32 contacts. They are moving fast. Time to intercept is 18 minutes. The bridge became very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. They could not fight that many Krathiks and protect the evacuation at the same time. Kyle stepped forward. His face was grim. "Sir, I recommend we complete the evacuation and retreat. We have done what we came here to do." Jake shook his head. "And leave the Xanthari ship for the Krathiks to study?" "They will learn that we have weapons that can hurt them. That information cannot get back to their main group." He pressed his communicator. "Lisa, I need your Marines ready for a special job." In the troop bay, Gunnery Sergeant Lisa Kane smiled fiercely. "We are already suited up, Captain." "What is the mission?" "Plant explosive charges throughout the Xanthari ship. When everyone is clear, we are going to deny the Krathiks their prize. Permanently." "Yes, sir." "Consider it done." The rescue operation started right away. 2 human shuttles carefully flew toward the dying Xanthari ship. Ensign Carol Martinez piloted the first shuttle, and Ensign Steve Palmer piloted the second. Through their windows, they could see the true damage to the colony ship. Entire sections of the hull had been peeled away like paper. The inside of the ship was exposed to the vacuum of space. "Peaceful Dawn, this is Rescue Shuttle 1, Carol said into her radio. "We are matching your rotation and will dock at your lower airlock. Please have your people ready to move quickly." "We understand, human pilot," came the response. "But you should know our sensors detect more Krathik signatures approaching. A larger swarm. They do not accept defeat easily." On the Valkyrie's bridge, Jake received the same sensor data. His stomach felt tight with worry. The tactical display showed 32 new contacts burning toward their position at high speed. This was not a small scavenging party. This was a revenge fleet. "Time until they reach us," Jake demanded. 18 minutes, Paul answered from navigation. "Captain, with that many enemies, we cannot hold them off and protect the evacuation at the same time." Kyle stepped forward. His face looked grim and serious. "Sir, I recommend we complete the evacuation and retreat." "We have done what we came for." Jake shook his head firmly. And leave the Zenthari ship for the Krathiks to study? They will learn we have weapons that can hurt them. That information cannot get back to their collective intelligence. He tapped his communicator button. Lisa, I need your Marines ready for a special assignment. In the troop bay, Gunnery Sergeant Lisa Kane grinned with fierce determination. We are already in our armor suits, Captain. What is the job? Plant charges throughout the Zenthari vessel. When everyone is clear, we are denying the Krathiks their prize permanently. Yes, sir. Consider it done. The Marines launched in a third shuttle. Their powered armor suits let them move through the damaged sections of the Peaceful Dawn that were open to vacuum. Lisa led her 12 Marines through twisted corridors. They placed high-yield fusion charges at critical structural points. Martinez here. Carol's voice came through on the command channel. First shuttle is loaded with 140 evacuees. Returning to Valkyrie now. Captain, these people are terrified but very grateful. One of them would not stop crying and saying we were blessed by the stars for coming. Tell them to save the thanks for when we are all home safe, Jake replied. But he felt warmth in his chest at the words. Steve, what is your status? Second shuttle loading now, sir. Another 100 civilians. The Zenthari are very organized. They are loading the injured and children first without being told. Meanwhile, the Valkyrie's fighter screen patrolled the area around the ships. They now had only 5 craft because one pilot had to return with engine damage. Heather Cole kept her eyes locked on her sensors. She watched the approaching Krathiks swarm grow closer with each passing second. Captain, I am picking up something odd, Heather transmitted. The Krathiks are not coming straight at us. They are splitting up trying to surround our position. Jake studied the tactical display and saw she was right. The machines were doing a complicated flanking maneuver. They are learning from the first wave. They know we are dangerous now. Captain, Amy interrupted urgently, I am receiving a transmission. It is not from the Zenthari. It is from the Galactic Council. An image appeared on the view screen. It showed an insect-like alien with many faceted eyes and clicking mouthparts. Council Representative Thexol of the Viridian Hive spoke in a buzzing voice. Human vessel Valkyrie, we have been monitoring your engagement. You must withdraw immediately. The Krathic strength you face is beyond any single ship to handle. This is not cowardice, but simple mathematics. Jake set his jaw firmly. Representative, we have civilians in the middle of evacuation. We are not leaving them. Then you will die with them, Thexol replied. His voice was not unkind. Human captain, your species' courage is admirable but misguided. Survival requires knowing when to retreat. The Zenthari are already lost. Do not join them in death. With respect, Representative, you do not know humans very well yet, Jake said. We have a saying on Earth, no one left behind. Valkyrie out. He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. Every face showed the same determination. All right, people, we have 12 minutes until those machines arrive. Kyle, move all non-essential power to weapons and shields. Danny, I want firing solutions ready the moment they enter range. Paul, plot us a retreat vector, but do not execute until I give the word. Third shuttle loaded and returning, Steve reported. That is 300 accounted for. Lisa's team is the last group aboard the Peaceful Dawn now. Lisa's voice came through. It was slightly distorted by interference. Charges placed and armed. Remote detonators set. We are extracting now. There was a pause. Captain, we found 5 Zenthari in a sealed compartment. They were trapped when the hull breached. Bringing them with us. Good work, Gunny. Get clear and get home. The last shuttle undocked from the Peaceful Dawn just as the Krathic swarm entered weapons range. The machines opened fire immediately. Energy beams crossed the space around the Valkyrie from many directions. The human ship shook as several hits connected with the shields. Return fire, Jake ordered. And someone blow that colony ship. Danny's fingers flew across his console. He unleashed the Valkyrie's full arsenal, while simultaneously sending the detonation signal. The Peaceful Dawn erupted in a brilliant explosion. The blast engulfed the nearest Krathix drones, destroying 7 instantly and damaging several more. All shuttles aboard, Kyle reported. We are clear to run. Jake gripped his armrest tightly. Not yet. Heather, your squadron is cleared to dock. Everyone else concentrate all fire on their lead elements. Let us bloody their nose before we go. The Valkyrie became a storm of violence. Its weapon systems fired in perfect timing with each other. The humans fought with a ferocity that stunned the Krathix collective consciousness. These newcomers did not simply resist. They attacked with tactical precision and absolute commitment. But the numbers were too much. The Valkyrie's shields began to break under the sustained assault. Warning alarms sounded throughout the ship. "Shields at 30%, Kyle shouted. "We need to leave, sir." Jake waited 3 more seconds. He watched another 4 Krathiks fall to their guns. "Now, Paul. Emergency jump." The Valkyrie's faster-than-light drive engaged. The human ship vanished from the battlefield, leaving behind a stunned Krathik swarm and the debris of their fallen machines. Safe in hyperspace, Jake finally allowed himself to breathe normally. Casualty report? Minor injuries only. Dr. Greg Foster reported from medical. Nothing serious. The Zenthari are shaken but stable. Sir, they keep asking to thank you personally. Jake smiled tiredly. Later. Right now, someone get me a damage assessment and find out how long until we can send a message to Earth Command. I think the Council needs to learn something about Deathworlders. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber orbited a neutral star called Centrum. It was a massive station that housed representatives from 47 different alien species. The building was designed to be impressive and awe-inspiring. It had very high ceilings and holographic displays showing real-time data from thousands of worlds. In the center was a forum where decisions affecting trillions of lives were made. Today, the chamber buzzed with more activity than usual. 3 days had passed since the Valkyries' fight with the Krathiks. In that time, footage of the battle had spread across the entire galactic network. Species that had thought of humanity as just a curiosity now watched in stunned silence. The recording showed a single human ship doing what entire fleets typically avoided doing. Ambassador Claire Hudson represented Earth in the Council. She stood at the human delegation's platform, surrounded by holographic images of other ambassadors. Her calm face hid the intensity of the moment. She had been a negotiator during Earth's corporate wars. She had learned long ago never to show weakness. Council Speaker Voral was a towering being of pure energy contained in a crystal-like container. He called the session to order. We gathered to address the incident at Sector 447, where the human vessel Valkyrie engaged Krathik's forces in direct violation of standing council protocols. Ambassador Thexol, the same Viridian representative who had warned Captain Morrison, clicked forward on his platform. "Speaker, the humans must be punished. Their reckless actions endangered not only themselves but the stability of the entire region. The Krathiks now know of Earth's location. They will respond with force." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Several species voiced concerns about humanity's aggressive tendencies. The methane-breathing Yol, the telepathic Mindari, and the water-living Delphi all expressed worry. Claire waited patiently for the criticisms to stop before speaking. "Honored council members, I hear your concerns. But I would ask you all to consider one simple fact. 347 Zenthari civilians are alive today because one human captain decided that a call for help was more important than bureaucratic protocols." A new voice entered the debate. It was crystalline and musical. The Zenthari delegate, Elder Saurian, shimmered in his special containment field. "I speak for those who were saved. The humans showed us something we had forgotten was possible. They showed us that honor and courage still exist in this galaxy. For 60 generations, the Krathiks have terrorized the civilized worlds. We run, we hide, we write protocols about acceptable losses. The humans heard our distress call and came running toward danger, not away from it. The Zenthari speak from emotion, not logic," countered a Viridian military strategist who appeared via hologram. "One victory means nothing. The Krathiks learn, adapt, and return stronger. By engaging them, the humans have painted a target on their world." Claire smiled thinly, "Then let them come. My people have faced extinction before. Asteroid impacts, ice ages, global wars, pandemics. We are still here. We do not run from threats. We face them and we overcome them." Voral's energy form pulsed with thought. "Ambassador Hudson, the Council must understand humanity's capabilities. Your ship destroyed 28 Krathiks units in total. This is unprecedented. What weapons do you possess that others do not?" "Nothing exotic," Claire replied honestly. "We use kinetic weapons, what we call railguns. We accelerate solid projectiles to extreme velocities. The Krathiks' armor was designed to deflect energy weapons. They never faced something as simple as a very fast rock." The chamber fell silent as the meaning sank in. The collective galactic military complex had spent centuries developing increasingly complicated energy weapons. They never considered that primitive kinetic technology might be more effective. A new speaker emerged. Admiral Kexter of the Iranian Empire was one of the Council's primary military powers. The human strategy is sound, but one ship cannot hold back the Krathiks. If they mass their forces against Earth, your people will be overwhelmed. That is why I am here, Claire said. Her voice took on a harder edge. Earth requests Council authorization to establish a rapid response fleet specifically tasked with anti-Krathiks operations. We will use our weapons, our tactics, and our crews. We will respond to distress calls that others ignore. The chamber erupted in debate. Some species saw the logic in the proposal. Others feared creating a precedent. The Viridians, always cautious, argued about the political implications of giving one species such a mandate. It was Elder Saurian who cut through the noise. I invoke the right of testimony. The Council must hear from those who survived. The holographic display shifted. Suddenly the chamber was filled with images and voices of Xanthari civilians. There were children with their crystalline faces pressed against windows. Parents held infants. Elderly beings who had thought they would die in the cold of space told their stories. The human Lisa carried my daughter through fire and vacuum, one Xanthari mother said. Her voice was breaking with emotion. She told her, I have got you, little one. You are safe now. What protocol forbids such kindness? Another voice spoke. The human Dr. Greg treated our wounded without hesitation, even though our biology is completely foreign to him. He stayed awake for 42 hours, making sure everyone received care. The testimonies continued. Each one was like a hammer blow against the arguments for punishment. The council members, many of whom had centuries of experience, found themselves moved by the simple gratitude of survivors. These people had been saved by what some called recklessness and others called heroism. Finally, Voral called for silence. The council will vote. The question before us is this: shall humanity be granted authorization to form and operate a rapid response fleet for endangered civilians in contested space? The vote was close. 25 voted in favor, 19 opposed, and 3 abstained. But it passed. Claire Hudson allowed herself a small smile. Thank you, honored council. Earth will not disappoint you. We will need resources, coordinates of known Krathiks activity zones, and permission to recruit volunteers from other species. Volunteers? Admiral Kextor's tone suggested surprise. Of course, Claire said. This is not about human glory. It is about saving lives. Anyone willing to stand between civilians and death is welcome in our fleet, regardless of species. As the council session ended and delegates left, Claire received a private message from an encrypted source. It was from Captain Jake Morrison. He was currently traveling back to Earth with his Xanthari passengers. Ambassador, tell the council thank you. But more importantly, tell them we are just getting started. I have got about 50 crew members who just realized what they signed up for, and every single one of them has volunteered to do it again. Humanity does not back down. We are going to show this galaxy how Deathworlders protect the innocent. Morrison out. Claire closed the message and looked out at the stars visible through the chamber's massive window. Earth was out there somewhere, a small blue world that had produced a species too stubborn to let others die when they could help. 6 months had passed since the Valkyries' historic battle. In that time, Earth had moved with the characteristic efficiency and determination that humans were known for. The Human Defense Fleet Rapid Response Division had grown from a single ship to a full battle group. Spacer crews across the galaxy had started calling it the Answer Fleet. Captain Jake Morrison now commanded more than just the Valkyrie. He led an entire task force from the bridge of a newly built flagship called the Liberty. The ship was twice the size of his old command. It had many refined kinetic weapons that had proven so effective against the Krathiks. Around the Liberty, 11 other human vessels maintained formation. There were destroyers, frigates, and support craft. All of them were crewed by volunteers. But the most remarkable thing about the Answer Fleet was not the ships themselves. It was who served aboard them. Commander Kyle Peters reviewed the crew list on his datapad. He shook his head in wonder. Sir, we now have crew members from 19 different species. We have got Xanthari navigation specialists, Yulks engineers, and even 2 Viridian tactical officers. Jake smiled as he watched a Xanthari crystalline being and a human technician working side by side at a console. Their different biologies were no barrier to cooperation. Turns out when you actually do what you say you are going to do, people want to be part of it. The Liberty's ready room had been changed to accommodate multiple species. There were different atmosphere zones, Variable gravity plates and universal translators built into every station. It was organized chaos that somehow worked perfectly. Lieutenant Amy Brooks still served as communications chief. She called out from her station. "Captain, we have got another one. Distress call from a mining colony in the Helix sector. The colony is under attack by raiders. 23 families are trapped." Jake did not hesitate. "Plot intercept course. How many ships are in range?" "We have got the Liberty, the Valkyrie under Commander Heather Cole, and the destroyer Defiance with Captain Nick Barnes. The frigates are still 3 hours away. 3 ships will have to do. Alert the crews. We launch in 15 minutes. Jake activated his fleet-wide channel. "All hands, this is Captain Morrison. We have got people in trouble. Let us show them that the answer fleet does not just exist on paper. We are the ones who come when others call. Let us move." The 3 human ships broke formation and accelerated toward the Helix sector. Their faster-than-light drives pushed them to maximum speed. In the Marine quarters of the Liberty, Gunnery Sergeant Lisa Kane briefed her now multi-species squad. "Listen up. We have got raiders hitting a civilian target. Rules of engagement are simple. Protect the innocents, neutralize the threat, and take prisoners if possible. Our Zenthari squad members will handle evacuation coordination. Your natural calm helps keep panicked civilians from making bad decisions. Yolk's team, you are on breaching duty. Your strength gives us options in close quarters. Humans, we are on point as always." One of the Zenthari Marines, a young soldier named Kellis, spoke up in his musical voice. "Gunnery Sergeant, why do humans always insist on taking the most dangerous positions?" Lisa grinned widely. "Because we are from a death world, kid. We are built for this. Now gear up. We have got people to save." The trip took 90 minutes. The Liberty dropped out of hyperspace to find chaos. 6 raider vessels were bombarding a mining facility on a small moon. The raiders were poorly organized but vicious. The facility's shields were failing. Escape pods were launching desperately into space, becoming easy targets for the raiders' weapons. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Human Defense Fleet." Jake transmitted on all frequencies. "Raiders, you have one chance to withdraw peacefully. Leave now, or we will remove you by force." The raiders' response was to fire on the nearest escape pod. It exploded silently. Lives were ended in an instant. Jake's voice turned to ice. "That was your chance. Danny, weapons free. Heather, Nick, split their formation. Let us hunt." The answer fleet moved with practiced precision. This was far different from the desperate improvisation of that first battle. The Liberty's railguns spoke with thunder. Each shot was carefully calculated to disable rather than destroy when possible. The raider vessels were built for intimidation rather than real combat. They found themselves completely outclassed by the human warships. One raider captain made the mistake of trying to flee. He burned toward the planet's upper atmosphere, hoping the human ship would not follow into the gravity well. He learned quickly that human pilots had trained in far worse conditions. Heather Cole and the Valkyrie pursued without hesitation. Her ship pulled maneuvers that would have torn apart vessels designed in zero-gravity shipyards. "Raider 4, your engines are targeted." Heather transmitted calmly as her targeting computer locked on. "Cut thrust and surrender, or I put a tungsten slug through your reactor. Your choice." The raider vessel went dark immediately. They surrendered. Within 20 minutes, the battle was over. 4 raider ships were destroyed and 2 were captured. Their crews were now in human holding cells awaiting trial. The Liberty moved alongside the damaged mining facility and the real work began. Dr. Greg Foster's medical teams worked tirelessly. They now included Delphi healers whose water-based biology gave them unique perspectives on treatment. The Marine squads evacuated survivors. The Zenthari proved invaluable at keeping the frightened miners calm during transport. In one of the damaged sections, Lisa Kane found a human miner trapped under collapsed machinery. His leg was crushed badly. "Hey there, buddy. I am Gunny Kane, Earth Marines. We are getting you out." "Earth?" The man gasped through his pain. "I have been out here 20 years. Never thought I would see another human again, much less one coming to rescue me." "Things have changed," Lisa said. Her Yolk squadmate, whose natural strength was 3 times that of a human, carefully lifted the heavy debris. "Word is getting around. When you are in trouble, the answer fleet comes. Does not matter if you are human Zenthari or little green men. We come." As the rescue operations finished and the survivors were safely aboard, Jake received a message from Galactic Council Command. Ambassador Claire Hudson appeared on his screen. She looked pleased. "Captain Morrison, I wanted you to hear this directly. In the past 6 months, the Answer Fleet has responded to 43 distress calls. You have saved over 2,000 lives of 14 different species. The Council just received a petition signed by representatives from 31 worlds. They are requesting the expansion of your operations. Jake raised an eyebrow with surprise. Expansion? They want Answer Fleet stations positioned in 8 sectors. They are offering to fund construction, supply logistics, everything. Jake, you have started something bigger than any of us imagined. Species that barely spoke to each other are now asking to serve together on your ships. You are not just saving lives. You are changing the entire galaxy's perspective on what cooperation means. We are just doing what is right, Ambassador. Claire smiled warmly. That is exactly why it is working. The Liberty hung in space above a newly constructed Answer Fleet station in the Outer Rim territories. Construction crews from a dozen different species worked together to finish the facility. It was the third such station to be built in the past 2 months. 5 more were planned for strategic locations across the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck, watching the workers move between the station's skeletal framework. Beside him stood Elder Sorian, the Zenthari delegate who had spoken so powerfully at the Council 6 months earlier. The old alien's crystalline features glowed softly in the starlight. It is remarkable, Sorian said in his musical voice. When I was young, my grandfather told me stories of a time before the Krathiks. A time when species helped each other without fear or hesitation. I thought those were just fairy tales. But you humans have made them real again. Jake smiled slightly. We just did what needed to be done. Anyone would have done the same. No, Captain, Sorian said firmly. That is where you are wrong. For generations, we have all told ourselves that survival required caution, that the smart choice was to retreat and preserve our own. You showed us that sometimes the smart choice and the right choice are different things, and you chose right. Before Jake could respond, his communicator beeped. It was Amy from the Liberty's bridge. Captain, we have an urgent transmission coming in. It is from Council Command, Priority Alpha. Patch it through to the observation deck, Jake ordered. Ambassador Claire Hudson's face appeared on the holographic display, but this time she was not alone. Council Speaker Voral's energy form pulsed beside her. Both looked extremely serious. Captain Morrison, Voral began without preamble. We have a situation. The Krathiks have launched a major offensive against the Irinian home system. Admiral Kextor's defense fleet is holding, but barely. They are requesting immediate assistance. Jake felt his blood run cold. The Irinians were one of the Council's most powerful military forces. If they were struggling, the Krathiks' assault must be massive. What is the force composition? Over 300 Krathiks vessels, Claire said quietly. It is the largest concentration of their forces we have ever seen. Jake, this is not just a raid. This is an invasion. If the Irinian system falls, it opens up a direct route to a dozen populated sectors. How long until they breach the Irinian defenses? Estimates vary, but Admiral Kextor gives them perhaps 18 hours before his lines collapse, Voral replied. Captain, I will be direct with you. The Council is debating whether to evacuate the system or send reinforcements. Many members believe this is a battle we cannot win. Jake's jaw tightened. And what do you believe, Speaker? Voral's energy form pulsed with what might have been respect. I believe that 6 months ago, the entire Council would have voted to evacuate without debate. But then we met humanity. You have taught us that some battles are worth fighting. Even when the odds seem impossible, I am asking you, Captain Morrison, will the Answer Fleet respond? Jake did not hesitate. Of course we will. But I need to be honest with you, Speaker. We have 12 ships operational right now. Against 300 Krathiks, we cannot win a straight fight. Then what do you propose? Claire asked. A cold smile crossed Jake's face. It was the same expression he had worn 6 months ago when facing his first Krathic swarm. We do not fight straight. We fight smart. We hit them where they are not expecting it. We use tactics they have never seen before. He turned to Sorian. Elder, I am going to need every ship you can spare. Not to fight, but to help with something else. Sorian's eyes widened with understanding. You want to evacuate the civilians before the battle? Exactly. If the Krathiks want to take the Irinian system, let them. But they will find it empty. We save every life we can. Then we make them pay for every meter of space they occupy. Voral's form pulsed rapidly, which Jake had learned meant excitement. A fighting retreat. Deny them their prize while bleeding them with hit-and-run attacks. Captain, this is not how most species wage war. That is because most species did not evolve on a planet that tried to kill them every single day, Jake replied. Humans learned a long time ago that you do not have to win every battle. You just have to make the enemy regret fighting you. Eventually they decide it is not worth the cost. Within the hour, the Answer fleet began mobilizing. The 12 ships under Jake's command were joined by 17 Xanthari evacuation vessels, 8 Yol's heavy transports, and surprisingly, 5 Viridian cruisers. Ambassador Thexel himself commanded the Viridian contingent. I still think you are all insane. Thexel buzzed over the communication channel. But if you are going to be insane, I suppose someone sensible should be there to document it for future generations. Jake laughed. Glad to have you with us, Ambassador. The fleet jumped to hyperspace as one. During the transit, Jake gathered his command staff for a final briefing. The Liberty's war room was packed with human officers and alien advisors, all studying the tactical displays. Here is the situation, Jake began. The Irinian system has 6 inhabited planets and over 40 billion civilians. We cannot evacuate everyone, so we prioritize hospitals, schools, government centers. We get the most vulnerable out first. The Irinians have agreed to conduct a fighting retreat to buy us time. Commander Kyle Peters pointed to the tactical display. Sir, the Krathiks are concentrating their forces here at the system's primary shipyards. They want the manufacturing capability intact. Good, Jake said. That means they are thinking like conquerors, not destroyers. They want to capture, not annihilate. That gives us leverage. He turned to Danny Wright. I want our fastest ships loaded with every torpedo we have. Not to sink their capital ships, but to damage them. Make them stop and conduct repairs. Slow them down. Heather Cole spoke up from her position. Captain, the Krathiks have never shown any interest in negotiation before. What makes you think they will stop to repair instead of just pressing forward? Because 6 months ago they learned that their armor is not invincible, Jake replied. They learned that they can be hurt. That makes them cautious, and caution slows you down. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Irinian system. The sight that greeted them was terrifying. 300 Krathiks vessels formed a massive wall of metal, slowly advancing on the inner planets. The Irinian defense fleet, though formidable, looked tiny by comparison. All ships, this is Morrison, Jake transmitted on the fleet-wide channel. Remember the plan. We are not here to win a battle. We are here to buy time and save lives. Evacuation ships, begin your runs. Warships with me. Let us make some noise. The Answer fleet split into 2 groups. The evacuation vessels, protected by Xanthari shield ships, burned hard for the inner planets. The warships, led by the Liberty, accelerated directly toward the Krathiks formation. Admiral Kextor's face appeared on Jake's screen. The Irinian's 4 eyes were wide with disbelief. Captain Morrison, you cannot be serious. You are flying 12 ships against 300. Not trying to fight them all, Admiral, Jake replied calmly. Just trying to annoy them. Watch and learn. The Liberty and its escorts opened fire at maximum range. Railgun rounds and missiles screamed across the void. The Krathiks formation rippled as dozens of vessels took damage. It was not enough to destroy them, but it was enough to hurt them, and hurt them enough to make them angry. The Krathiks swarm shifted. 50 vessels broke off from the main formation and turned toward the Answer fleet, just as Jake had hoped.